Woo. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus once again. I want to thank you so very much for stopping and listening to what the advocacy and speaking of human rights for everybody on earth. You very seldom hear people speaking about basic human rights for all people. I mean, they might let those words dribble off their lips every now and then, but an initiative geared towards an accomplishment such as that seems to be something that is very seldom heard of. I have, I believe here, something that I want to share with you a little bit different than what I've been sharing with you before. In fact, let's see. The devil's food, I think we did that. I'm looking here because I made some notes. And if I haven't made them previous, I'd like to do it. I think what I would like to speak to today is a message to the poor. Now, in every society, in every age, especially in our lifetime, we recognize that there's always been poverty there, and we've all accepted the fact that poverty will always be with us. And we really accept that fact because somebody passed that expression down to us, and we've never forgotten it. And so as poverty keeps passing on with the generations that come, we accept it as being something we can't get rid of. But I want to say to the poor, you are poor as far as material things are concerned. And you really don't know why. The earth and you were put together to experience paradise. You have been robbed and you don't know it. People all over the world are robbed and are slaves to the various systems. I was chosen and I was qualified to bring you this message of deliverance called truth. President Ronald Reagan was the U.S. president of falsehood. President of that part of the system that robs you. Now, I was in this man's Navy until I recognized his policies were of deception. And it led to the abuse of the poor. With this knowledge, I refused to serve under his authority. A decision that ended me in prison. And later, an exit from the United States Navy with an other than honorable separation. For truth's sake, I sought a position of influence, hoping to make life better for those that suffer. I've traveled a great portion of this country teaching the message of truth. I sought the office of Mayor of St. Paul, Governor of the state of Minnesota, United States Senator from the state of Minnesota, President of the United States at least 3 times, and finally Mayor of the city of Woodbury, Minnesota. And I was received as a laughingstock, not because of the vision, rather because I had no money. The people with money, those that have been robbing you your entire life, were never going to support this cause. And you went along with them against your better benefit. Still, for you, I committed crimes against the state to draw attention to the cause, only to serve time in jails and prisons without you caring or having or showing one bit of interest. You've been so tricked that you believe that Donald Trump, a man that has been robbing as much as he could from you, is the man of the hour for you. He has no more political experience than I, but he does have the wealth that he's gotten from you, legally and illegally. So you accepted him, spoke out for him, and made him your next United States president. You don't even know what his plans or his policies are, and you really didn't care. You were led by idiocy, by your slave mentality. The world told you he was no good for you. And now he has them to support his efforts against you. You see, they were always crooks. Every last one of them were always crooks. And they pointed that out about each other. They were crooks. But all Americans are slaves to money. And God be damned. They were crooks. They sat there and pointed out at each other, told you their shortcomings. And the one that everybody pointed at, I guess the public says, well, if everybody hate him, he must be the best one for us. If everybody that he's running against hate him, they must hate him because he's good. He won't be as destructive as they would be. So let's get him. And you got him. And now all of those who were putting him down are in line trying to get a job under him. You see how that trick works? Now that was a bad trick, wasn't it? I mean, that was really bad. And you couldn't see that because you're being led under the spirit of that which allows that to happen. That's why I'm in existence. That's why I'm here under God's rule. You will cry out to God. But obviously you haven't suffered enough at the hands of those demons possessed. God will be there as he always has been. When you arrive, he's there waiting. But he's also reaching out a hand. Here we are. So, ladies and gentlemen, to the poor, don't think that what you've been taught, that the poor will always be here. Don't believe that. And don't think that a miracle out of the sky, outside of a revelation that comes in your head and in your heart, it motivates you to stand up and say no more. I want to say this to you just before I go. Remember this, when you go to bed at night, think about it. Every night you go to bed, whether you're sleeping on the street corners, especially if you're sleeping under a pasteboard box or under a garbage can somewhere, remember this. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. Everything that the earth can do, it came from power outside of humankind, outside of black people, white people, men, women. It came outside of that. But the ability to extract from this which God has given to meet our physical needs for survival, God gave each of us a part of that finished product. And in doing that is where we would find our joy in life, in living, that gives us purpose for living. And in doing that, at the same time, our needs will be met to the extent we can consider as paradise. That is God's. But it comes with the people having choice. Nobody's going to be forced in paradise, and nobody's going to be forced in hell. Each one will choose their own way. Now you in your predicament, going through this suffering, and you think that others should be condemned for what you are, the state that you're in, and they should. But likewise, if they can be condemned, who would abuse you like this, then so should you be condemned. For that same power that says all of this is cool also said to you, thou shalt have no other gods. No other gods before the truth. And this God that exists that allows you to be without, to the extent that you are sleeping in the streets, is a fake God. And you sleeping in the streets says you are afraid of that God because whatever that God will do. And you know what that God will do. The God will kill you for standing up. And so you just bend down, bend down. Don't you think it's time for you to believe in another God? Open up your mind. Open it up. Dream. Look out there. Outside of the box. Outside of the realm of what we've been taught here in this nation. Reach out and see. See a finished product. And be able to understand the difference between it and this. And if you want to, stand up on it and give life to it in the midst of this darkness. Hey, brother, sister, you're going to die anyway. But why not be remembered for doing something good? Why not be remembered for doing something for those generations that are going to come after you're gone? Like those who did so much for us. Yes, many of them slept. Many of us are sleeping today. But I'm challenging you by the Spirit of truth. Get up, get up, get up, and take care of business. It is in your hands just like it is in anyone else's. And stop feeling sorry for yourself. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Know that those who are not living in those streets can stand up and watch you live in those streets and not give an iota of any compassion for you. That matters. So if you're going to be embarrassed at somebody, let it be them. Yes, you can be embarrassed at yourself as long as you lay it out there in that hog pen, acting like you have no power. Yes, be embarrassed at yourself. But when the truth comes and slap you in your face, get up off your butt and stand up and see that enemy that chokes the life out of you. See that enemy for what it is, that's causing pain and suffering all over the world. See that enemy as it is for causing wars and terrorism, killing people and slaughtering people in the name of greed. See that enemy as it is. You don't have to be ashamed anymore of yourself. You stand up against that. And if they kill you, thank God Almighty that you woke up and died for a cause that was worthy of death. That's a message to you, the poor. Bye-bye.